It's actually really difficult to tell someone, do these three things and you'll be successful. Because really and truly, it's an amalgamation of lots of different things that you learn. But I sat there and I thought, what are three key habits or traits that definitely would go under the radar that most people wouldn't think about, that play a vital role in you becoming successful? And from my experience anyway, has made me ridiculously successful by doing these things. So hopefully you got your coffee ready and you're ready to get into this episode. So first up, network. Let's talk about it, but not in the traditional sense. So everyone's always saying that, look, it's going to be directly correlated to how successful you become. You know, your network is your net worth. To a degree, yes, but there's one caveat to it from my experience anyway. I surrounded myself with people that were ambitious, because that's key, but they weren't the finished article. I surrounded myself with people that had good value systems, because now I'm connected to lots of different types of people, you know, entrepreneurs in different industries, that some of them are ridiculously successful. But what I've also found is this: some of them are not the kind of people that I want to be surrounded by. So they might be successful in their own right of like monetary value, but value system, absolutely not. So, you know, you pick and choose and you start to learn that, okay, this person, they could be a good contact, if you like, that could help me in business, but if they don't really align with my value system, then I'm not going to keep them in that circle. I'm not even going to keep them like slightly close. They're going to be at a complete distance. So this is the part that people don't recognize. And I think a lot of people along the way, they lose their moral compass, if you like, in order to just get ahead. And I'll go back to the same saying. It's something I live by. How you make your money is more important than how much that you make. So if you're just thinking, as long as I've got a good network, I can exploit this and I can do that, yeah, you might get ahead and you might get ahead quicker. But then what will you be left with? People that are snaking you behind your back, people that you can't rely on. It is much better to go in the same direction, maybe slightly slower, but it will last. And you've got good people around you. You've probably helped those people as well. You've got people you can trust. That to me is more important. Again, personal preference. Some people are just straight up ruthless. All they want to do is make money. I would say those people have not really found the meaning of life. But again, that's a video for a completely different day. But do not underestimate the value system of your network. So this next one, I think a lot of people lack, which is routine. And when I say routine, it has to be things that are actually going to make a difference, because you probably have some form of a routine. I almost guarantee it's not helping you move forward with your goals. And the one thing that I've done way over a decade now is prioritize a morning routine and an evening routine that helps me move forward. And I'll just give you a few little tips in regards to that, and you can start building and crafting your own routine. If your routine is just like you wake up, you get stressed, you think about shit you got to do, and then maybe you write a couple of bits down, then you have breakfast and you shoot off to work, and then you wonder why you're not successful, well then the answer's right there. You're set up to fail every single day and you're not utilizing valuable time. If you go to sleep without planning the next day, again, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because these are valuable opportunities for you to wake up in a better state. So although it might seem really, really simple, I can tell you 99% of the population do not do this. 99% of the population probably don't map out their goals and go, this is the person I want to become, this is what I want to do, these are the things I want to have. All they're doing is just working from here, just consciously thinking about it. But that's not enough. You want your subconscious to do the heavy lifting. So over the years, I've realized, I didn't know this in the early years, but because my morning routine would actually be not tick box exercises, it would actually be things that I know that are going to make a difference. Compound effect, unreal. Year 1, nothing. Year 2, nothing. Year 3, same. Getting a little bit better, still don't really have any results to show for it. Year 4, that's when things really start to come in. So it's a very, very long period of time of doing things that move the needle, that make a difference, but you're still not making money yet. There's so much power in that, because it's difficult to stop anyone in any niche you like. It's really difficult to stop them becoming successful if they've got that sort of mentality. So what I want you to start thinking about, if you haven't already, is how good is your morning routine right now? Or is it just a bunch of rubbish? How good is your evening routine? Do you even have one? I can almost bank on this. If I put a poll out, I guarantee you that the ratio of people that have a morning routine versus an evening routine will be so much higher. So you might actually say, yeah, do you know what? I do actually have a good morning routine. I bet you if you do, your evening routine is garbage and you need to work on that. And you don't value it enough. You probably just, when you're tired, you get into bed, you're like, I've got to go to sleep now, I've got to get out for work. And you just drift off to sleep without even thinking about, what was I thinking about? Do you remember your last thought? before you went to sleep? Do you even think about, when you get up in the morning, do you think about, oh, what was I thinking about before I went to sleep? Because remember, when you're going to sleep and you're drifting off, well, our mind, in layman's terms, we go into these different states, and those different states determine how much you absorb. You ever seen the people with the when they're trying to program themselves, or they're sitting on a couple of films where they're listening to affirmations, and they're listening to them before they go to sleep, and they've got their wide headphones in, and they're like drifting off to sleep as they're doing it. There's no smoke without fire. There's some truth to that, because before you go to sleep, you get in this alpha state, and in that alpha state, it's like the dreamy state. It's where your mind is the most malleable, meaning that you will absorb more things before you go to sleep as you're drifting off. And the same thing as the first 15 minutes as you wake up. So you got to be thinking about, right, if I'm not even being aware of the things I've got to do, what could you do? Quite simply, before you go to sleep, you know you feel tired, you're drifting off to sleep, you should now consciously go, right, what am I excited about tomorrow? What am I going to accomplish tomorrow? What are the things I want to, or who I want to become? What have I done lately that I'm proud of? Like, when you start training your mind to be wired this way, you will guaranteed wake up in a better mood. And if you wake up in a better mood, you're more likely to win the morning, which will win the day. These are simple things, but over 1 or 2 days doesn't make a difference. But over a 2-year span, 3-year span, 5, 10 years, you wake up as a very rich person. This is the biggest one. This is the biggest one. Sacrifices. So many of you think that you make sacrifices, right? You have to be willing to sacrifice for such a long period of time without getting annoyed that you're not getting results. For me, this has almost become like a superpower, because on my journey of becoming profitable, I remember there were many times where I'd have conversations with my brother, and he would say, like, you making money yet? I'd say, no. You making money yet? No. You know, I've made a little. Oh, how's it going again? Oh, it's all right. You know, like, I've made money, not making money. This is like years that pass by. So imagine when you're like 3.5, 4 years in, and you just got people that they obviously care about you. They're asking you, you making money yet? It's like, not really. Are you bothered about that? No. Why? Because I know that I don't want to live some average life and, you know, invest into a pension and think that's going to be some rubbish. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to accept that. So even if this is going to take me a little bit longer, who cares? What am I going to do? Then get a job and then just work until I retire? Fuck that. You know, so it's just about being able to be comfortable with the fact that if you want to build a different sort of life and you want to be top 1%, so essentially you don't want to have to live like everybody else. You want to be able to go, I can go on holiday when I want, I can go get my hair cut when I want. You got freedom, luxury of time. Doesn't that by default mean that if it was that easy, everyone could do it, which they can't. So if it's that if it's not easy and the average person can't do it, therefore you have to make sacrifices that the average person just won't do. And the average person is always out of pocket mindset. I'm telling you right now, you listen to this, but this destroys people. They do some work for a period of time and they go, oof, I haven't been paid for that, because they've been trained like a good little worker. You do the work, you do the hours, you get paid in your pocket. Oh, I couldn't possibly do that because I'm out of pocket. Yeah, I've actually seen this before, where, because people want no risk, and you have this with tradespeople a lot, where they'll price a job, for example. Let's say, I don't know, someone priced a job to build me a wall, and then they say, oh, it's going to cost you £5,000 to build that wall. I'll go, okay, cool, accept the price. The wall takes them longer than they expected, so they priced in maybe £300 a day of labour, etc. They've worked it out. What ends up happening? It takes longer than expected, and then because they've not priced it correctly, or they just, for whatever reason, they didn't do it as quick as what they thought they would, they're ending up taking double as long. So then they only end up at £150 a day, and they go, well, oh, I didn't quote it correctly, so I have to potentially charge you more. So, well, hold on a minute, this is a fixed price. You didn't want an hourly rate. You wanted a fixed price, and you wanted a fixed price because you thought that if I do it in this period of time and I get it done, I'm going to be on £300 a day or £400 a day working out on the ratio of the price. But because it didn't work out the way you wanted it, you also don't want to accept the risk. So you're happy when it works for you, but then you're out of pocket when it doesn't work for you. You see how that doesn't make sense? And you get a lot of people in the trade industry that do this, whether they're electricians, carpenters, bricklayers. I've seen it all. We don't want no downside, but we want all of the upside benefits. Doesn't work like that. You have to be willing to just make sacrifices. So again, without going too off on a tangent on that part, because I think this is really important, is that if you want to get ahead in life, you fundamentally have to think differently to everyone else, which means that if we was to lay out a fair ratio of people that are successful versus not, from a population point of view, cool, I'm going to be more generous and go 80-20 rather than going like, 95% of the whole world is rich and 5% are poor. Let's say it's 80-20. So that means that 80% of the people that you come in contact with will not think like you. So if you're in a group of 10 people, 8 out of 10 you're not going to align with, which means you're going to be misunderstood by most human interactions, whether you're in the petrol station, whether you're going to your local superstore, or wherever you're going on a flight, you're traveling around. Majority of people, if you want to be successful, if you want to make 200-300 grand a year, 500 grand, £1 million a year, if you want to be a multimillionaire, you're going to be misunderstood by the majority of people you come in contact with. Therefore, you have to be able to go, okay, have the emotional intelligence to realize I need to be mindful of the things that I say, the things that I share, and only share it with a select few that are on the same wavelength, because the people that are not on the same wavelength, they're going to bring me down. And if I bring it back to sacrifices, the kind of people and network as well, is really, really important, is that you want to be around people that you can share that with, that have the right value system and they're ambitious, because they also get the sacrifices that you're making. And what they'll also do, they'll actually hold you accountable. So imagine you're surrounded by just a few good people, and you don't actually need loads. A few good people, they might not be rich yet, but they've got the right work ethic, the right mindset. If you start messing up and not following through on your word, guess what they're going to do? They're going to be, hold on a minute, why are you complaining? Why are you moaning? Remember, the sacrifices need to be made. So they'll call you out on your own bullshit, because as humans, we have this tendency to self-sabotage. We have this tendency to think, but what if it doesn't work out? And we kind of get in our own heads. But when you've got the right good people around you, they'll call that out and stop that. So like, that's an insurance in and of itself, just to be around the right people. I get the whole heroic story of trying to go alone, but you're taking risks that you don't need to take. Why would you even want that story of like, I made it all by myself and like I didn't have anyone around me? Like, that sounds good in a movie, but in reality, it's pretty fucking depressing. You want to be around people that are leveling you up, pushing you forward, that get this guy's going to have sacrifices and willing to work with no results because he understands the long-term picture. These are the kind of people that I want to be around. This person's got discipline, he's got good routines. That's the kind of person I want to surround myself with. So what you got to be thinking about now, especially going into the end of this year, is, right, what have I achieved this year? What have I achieved this year? And then dedicate some time in December to actually really think about just how your year went. What could you have done better? Analyze it, audit it, be ruthless with it, be brutal with yourself, and then create a game plan for next year. As to, what do I want to do? What do I want to have? What do I want to become? I've spoken about this in my book lots of times. Do, be, have. Whichever order you want, doesn't really matter. You just need to get it down on paper. Work from document. This is what is going to make you successful. Do you know what I've noticed with my coffee as well? As I've got better at making coffee, I like it stronger and stronger. Before it was like I was a latte guy. Now I'm a cappuccino, and now it's like, I don't even know what goes after that, but yeah, it's a stronger coffee. These beans are good as well. I've had my machine for, over a year now? Easy over a year. And a lot of times people can't justify buying an expensive machine, but they're still going to Costa Coffee or takeaways. They're still spending money. This is on a side note, by the way. Do not underestimate. I've made that money back on that machine already, by the way. Yeah, I think I was spending about £400 a month on average on coffees, like for myself, my mum, and people around me, people in the team. I'm spending a lot on coffees every single day, and they're not even that good coffees. So if I actually really think about it, what was that costing me? A good like 5k a year just on coffees alone. And that's like ones I've not even thought about. So it's probably more than that. But anyway, the machine is like 2k. I can't remember what it was, about 2k, 1,800 quid. I've already made that money back. And when you think about it, you're getting better organic mold-free coffee. You're getting fresher roasted beans. It's at your convenience. And you can make it consistently. Once you dial it in, you can make it consistently how you want it. Honestly, one of the best investments was that. And it's the thinking of that. Like, imagine where you could be saving money in ways that you're not just saving money to save money, you're actually increasing the quality of what you're getting as well. So I've made the money back, I've still got the machine, I'm now thousands of pounds up, and I've got all the convenience and best quality beans, and I can make other people coffee. And one tiny little thing, so strange to even say this, but festive period is coming up, right? When it gets towards like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day and Boxing Day, everything's closed. And when I wanted coffee, I would typically be able to go get one, right? But nothing's open. I'm not going to get in a crappy Costa from a service station just because it's open on Christmas Day. Absolutely not. So even just little wins like that of thinking about, right, on Christmas morning, if I want to have custard cream, because who doesn't love a custard cream? You're a weirdo if you don't. Or a little bourbon or something like that, keep it old school. And one of those with a creamy cup of strong coffee, that gasses me. But anyway, so I thought I'd just share this with you, right? If we're sitting there, fireside, in the library, wherever, having a coffee together, and you're asking me, right, Mark, what should I prioritize? As someone who has made it from nothing to this, what is something that maybe most people wouldn't consider? Because I could go through a whole bunch of other traits as well, but we'll do that in a different episode. Right now, you prioritize this. Already that's going to take care of so much and will help you become more successful.